Hi guys, it's Ben here. Welcome back to another Scared Equine video blog. In today's blog, I'm going to be talking about how to get to the deeper, more authentic emotion that you're feeling. And this is really what I'm talking about here is when we feel strong emotions that we would see them as negative, that are, like fear and guilt and shame and anger and things like that, that can sometimes make us feel reactive and defensive and in a lot of emotional pain. And something that I think it's important to understand about emotions is that the layering effect that they can have. So often we'll feel emotions on the surface level that we might perceive them as maybe anger and fear and guilt, but underneath those surface emotions is another layer of a deeper level of emotions. And this is important, that if we want to move on, to free ourselves and to let go of these emotions, or to understand why they're hanging around and they're not letting go of us, a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're not actually getting underneath that surface layer of emotion. We're not getting deep enough to actually acknowledge and consciously acknowledge the deeper emotion that's going on. And so, as an example for me, a recent thing that came up was that in an interaction with somebody that I was feeling anger and frustration, but on it when I looked deeper and I used this technique of going deeper, what I realized that I was feeling was there was an element of grief in there. So a feeling of grief, and also underneath that was a fear, a deeper fear of that it got exposed to me through these more surface emotions. But because I was able to unravel these layers of emotions and actually go back and find the original one, when I became conscious and fully present with that one, I was able to understand what was going on, and a lot of the other ones just diminished and disappeared because I got to the core one. And once you get to the core one, you can address the deeper, more authentic core emotion that's going on, and that essentially helps you become more empowered to let go of it and to move on and to move through those things and grow from them, instead of them hanging around or coming and going or always being underneath the surface. And so I think this is really quite a powerful little tool, and I'm going to run you through it right now. So whenever you're experiencing an emotion, let's say somebody says something to you and straight away you feel anger towards that person. Let's say they say, well, that wasn't a very good job you did yesterday when you were talking at the business meeting that we had yesterday afternoon. And when they say that, automatically you get angry and you get defensive and you get frustrated because you worked really hard on it and they're not approving of you, and all these emotions come up. And so if you look at this situation, you may have experienced it, like the defensiveness, like an anger, like they're crossing a boundary. They're saying your work isn't good. So you're feeling angry, you're feeling defensive, you're feeling maybe a little vulnerable. But underneath that, if you go a little deeper, so the way to go a little deeper is to say, I'm feeling angry, frustrated, and vulnerable because of what belief system. So I'm going to go to the belief system. What's the belief system behind all that? And what's the meaning underneath it that's triggering me to have that reaction to that person? And the meaning behind it is, whatever it comes up for you, it might be that means that the work that I do isn't of value. So them saying that wasn't a very good talk, or that I didn't do a very good job, that means that my work isn't of value. So then I look at, I've got to address that, and what emotions underneath that? The fear of not being enough, the fear of not being of value. And so as you can see, if you go underneath these layers, you start seeing this deeper fear that's under there. And again, this can be something that you might want to work through over a period of time, because sometimes we unearth some really intense, more deep-seated stuff that is related to a lot of past experiences that we've had, and they're not so simple to deal with in the present moment. So we have to find a way to gradually unravel these layers of emotions and to work on all the pieces that come up when we do that. But this is a great way to help get you back to the authentic emotion. And once you get back to the authentic emotion and belief that's driving that authentic emotion, it helps you in a lot of ways to become much more conscious of when you're being triggered. And also, if you do more work on yourself, you can look at what past experiences that's related to, and things maybe you haven't dealt with and you haven't processed from the past that need to be brought out into the open and to be healed and to be worked on. So I hope that gives you some idea of how to find that authentic emotion. And so, like I said, you're looking at the external emotions, and then you're trying to go a little deeper by asking the question, I feel vulnerable, I feel frustrated, I feel angry because, what's underneath that? And I'm just going to ask myself, what's underneath that? What meaning does those emotions have to me? I'm trying to protect myself because I'm afraid I'm going to be seen as not enough or not good enough, or I'm going to be seen as inadequate, or I'm going to be seen as not caring. I mean, for a lot of ladies, it can be that they see a critique of something that they do with their kids by another mother as that they're not a good mom. And if that's what if you're spending a lot of time with your kids and it's a really important high value for you, you're going to get defensive about that. But then looking at what's underneath that, what fear is that? Fear of not being a good enough mum. And why do I feel like I'm not good enough as a mum? What's the belief under that? What's the fear under that? Maybe I feel that I feel unworthy of being a mother because whatever belief is behind that. So again, you can actually go quite a ways back into finding the belief that is the deepest seated beliefs and emotions that are driving these surface emotions. Again, once you get back to the authentic emotions underneath and you address the beliefs around those, you can actually move through that with a lot more conscious awareness, and it's a great way to be able to let go and to express authentically what is truly happening for you. And just that awareness in itself is powerful. So I hope that helps. Please like and share. If you have some of your own ways of finding the deepest seated emotion, I would love to hear about them. So share below. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.